No, I like that they're just open-minded, but they're also really honest. Like, they don't just lap up anything we do. They're critical and stuff, but I think they're really open-minded people. I hope that we continue to attract really open-minded people. It's my dream. Like, oh my God, there's nothing worse than, like, not liking your fans. Like, if you're like, they're so annoying. I really like I look out there and I'm like, these are cool people. And I'm not just saying that.
Hi, I'm Alia, and I'm here with Spiritbox for the latest in Enemies in Conversation series. How are you?
Very tired, but happy.
So you've just wrapped up a sold-out run of the UK and Ireland on top of tons of other tour dates. How are you feeling?
The most tired I've ever been, but in a good way. Like, I feel accomplished, and it was fun, and now I get to just not be so stressed about protecting my voice and like let loose a little. This is like the first interview or anything I've been able to do in the whole year because I'm just always conserving my voice.
I was at your show on Thursday. You did 2 sold-out shows at the Roundhouse in London.
Yeah.
What sort of went into the planning for that?
It was a lot of planning because we did a whole US headliner that had those video walls and those platforms and stuff. But now it's been 2 months since we had those, and then we brought them back for the UK because we were in Europe doing, a festival here and a co-headliner here and then opening for a band here, so it didn't make sense to bring all that stuff with us the whole time. And so it was a little nerve-wracking, but it was like riding a bicycle. We got back into the flow of having all that stuff. But for the Roundhouse shows, my team went all out, and they all the touring team, like, I'm very involved with that stuff, and so is Michael, but those guys helped us so much, and they really tried to let Michael and I focus on just performing every night. And they, our lighting director, our video content guy, our tour manager, they worked so hard to help us bring our ideas to life. And I think that they did an incredible job. Like, it takes a whole big team to figure all that stuff out logistically, and then also just like creatively, how do you, that's new to me. I've never had like crazy pyro and stuff before, and I always wonder like how to incorporate it into your show instead of it just kind of looking like a tacky like add-on. And I think we did a good job. Like, I really liked it, and it made me, it's making like the gears turn for what else we can do, because that I found that so fun. It just made everything feel so much more dramatic, which I love.
And I also felt like your performance was sort of inspired by artists maybe like outside of the rock and metal world. Are there any like sort of artists you look to for influences in terms of your like live performance? My
answer is so typical of me. Just everything anyone ever asks me, I'm sorry, but the answer is always Beyonce. Beyonce is my favorite artist. But in general, just getting to watch anyone who plays to a large amount of people, I try to study that because I'm just used to playing shows in a club or in a festival situation where there's jumbotrons. And when you're playing, a venue like the Roundhouse, you're not in either. It's bigger than a club, so people can't see you from far away, but it's not big enough where there's like video screens so they can see your small movements. So I really try, every time I get to play with like a big artist that, and I get to watch them from the back of house or on the side, I try to see like how can they make movements that are impactful but that are efficient, that aren't wasting energy. But my lazy answer is just it's Beyonce. All I do is I go on TikTok and I just watch TikToks of her Renaissance tour. So everything I do, I think of her, like her little movements and stuff. I'm obsessed with her. It's kind of embarrassing, yeah, because I am obsessed with her. I'm sorry, it's just I can't help it. I'm comfortable now, just letting everyone know that I'm a 34-year-old woman who's obsessed with another woman named Beyonce.
And you just mentioned sort of playing with bigger artists, and you've had the opportunity to play with a lot of other artists over the last year, including Ghost. Have you picked up anything, like any advice or anything from playing with these artists?
Well, one of the biggest things is I really appreciate their ambition, because like the when we played with Ghost, we went on tour with them. I feel like they bring a stadium level show to a arena, and so we our goal on a smaller scale is to bring an arena level show to a club. And then same thing with Bring Me the Horizon. We did some shows with them. I think they bring a stadium level show to an arena. They're always going to be inspiring bands like us, because I think that's just so ambitious. It's so much more work than necessary to the ticket price and the venue cap, but that's not why they're doing that. And I see a bit of us in those guys. It's almost like looking into the future. Like if we can keep doing a good job, then maybe we can do that stuff too. Because it's not about like, oh look it, we can afford all this cool stuff. It's just kind of like the same as a music video. It's like, why do we invest all this money and time into music videos? It's just a part of, it's just like a different part of the music that's really important to us. And it's the same. That's the only way I can explain it. It's like bringing a music video to real life, and we just feel compelled to do it. We just like, can we do it? So I loved getting to play with those bands. Every time we do, I learn something from them.
And you've done, like you mentioned, you've done 2 headline tours and festival appearances and support slots this year. Have you learned anything from those live experiences that you're carrying forward into new music?
Well, there's the instant gratification of playing something that, there's like a payoff, like the crowd can tell a breakdown's about to happen, or it's like a really bouncy tempo. It's just so satisfying to have like that connection with a bunch of people that like probably most of them don't know who you are and don't know your music, but they can still have fun watching you and interact with you. So I don't know if it would inform the music that we make, but I do feel strongly that there's like certain types of music that don't translate to bigger venues, and then certain songs that do. And just even certain ways of performing, like my screaming voice like doesn't sound good in certain venues, and I've actually like changed a little bit the way that I scream, like for the better, because I realized in like a big boomy arena doesn't cut through. I don't know, it's just like all learning experience. If I think too much about that stuff, I feel like it will mess up when I'm creating stuff. But when we are making something that's bouncy, I do envision those people bouncing up and down. Like I stand there and I jump up and down while Michael's writing a riff, and I'm like, make it a little faster. Or like he'll think about that when he's making something. So I think like even if I try not to think about that, I think I'll always like envision those people and envision like a wall of death and, like coming. Like I can't help it. It's just so satisfying.
And it's been almost 2 years since you released your debut album, Eternal Blue, which charted really well. And I know before that you had talked a lot about like sort of the hype that was surrounding Spiritbox even prior to the album coming out. How do you feel about that experience now that like we've had some time and you're on the other side of it?
I felt really like weird about all of this goodwill towards our band, like, because I just feel like it's so hard to explain. I feel like it's really hard to have both like commercial and critical acclaim, and I almost feel I felt like this weird. I was like, why are all these people who haven't heard our album so excited for us to do a good job? Like everyone, I just felt like there was so much goodwill, and I was like, I think it's just you're the new kid in town. Like we haven't done anything to annoy anybody yet. We haven't had time to mess anything up yet or make bad music yet. Like unfortunately that's going to happen to us at a later date. Normally you kind of figure that stuff out when you're young and before people discover you. But that was like a lot of pressure for me. I think that like because Michael and I have been trying to do this for such a long time, and it took so long before we were with Spiritbox, and then after we started working on it, for anyone to like give a shit about it, we were almost like uncomfortable with like being embraced by any sort of like the music industry because that's just not how we operated. Like, we operated by being like, these people don't believe in us, we'll show them. And then now it's like we opened a door and everyone's like, we believe in you. We're like, well,
Like, are you sure?
are you sure about that? But we're getting used to it. I think that we just need the visual, like, to actually physically see this stuff. So, like, walking out to the sold out show 2 nights in a row, the Roundhouse, I like physically saw it with my own eyes. It wasn't like Spotify, like all that stuff is like so abstract to me. Like, anytime it's like, look, your song is on the chart, and I'm like, will people come to my show? Because you can't. That's just something that's like you have to address head on. Like, I was like stressed out that of all these people being like, you guys didn't sell at your show. Like, it was a bunch of bots bought your tickets. And I know that's not true. I can see the back end data. Like, oh, it sold out in 5 minutes. The bots bought the tickets. But I will tell you, like, I was scared. Like, I was looking at all the seats when I was in there, and I was like, what if there's no one there? Like, what if they're right? Like, what if they're right? So I'm still getting used to the not having, like, an opposition towards me, and right now I feel like we have so many wonderful people in the music industry that believe in us, and then also like our peers, like all the other musicians. Everyone's really nice to us, and I think it's because they see that we're like older, like they see that we are like old dogs, like trying to make it, and they see themselves in that. But then we're young, and our bands, not us, we're old, but like our band's age, the age of the band Spiritbox is young because we only have one album. So they also, I think of us like little brothers and sisters, and they want to help us. So it's awesome. I'm going to enjoy the goodwill for as long as possible, and I'll ride that wave as long as I can. Because then, eventually something will change. But right now, I'm just embracing it. It's lovely.
Yeah, I think everyone's really excited to see what you're going to do next and where your sound will go next.
Yeah.
And I think I heard you say in an interview that it's just like sort of what happens in the moment, like what comes to you after Michael writes a riff or something.
Yeah.
Has your like writing process changed at all since you did Eternal Blue?
I think that I will become a better songwriter because I'm starting to feel more comfortable being a little bit more literal in songs. Sometimes like hiding behind like metaphors and stuff is safer, but it's also like a little pretentious, because you're not really having to commit to what you're saying. You're just like writing something, and you're not really worrying about does it connect to verse 1 and the chorus and verse 2, and is everything like the full song is something that you're actually trying to say. So I'm trying to get better at that. I think I'm getting better at that. And then Michael's just he just gets better and better at writing songs, so I have a lot to live up to because he'll present me with this song that I love. So I think it's up to you guys to determine whether I executed that well. I already want to write new stuff and like outdo that, and I want to challenge myself to do that. But ultimately, like, it's just all like free therapy, like writing. So I can't help it. I'm trying to keep it like that, like not thinking about what our fans want to hear or what you guys want to hear from us, like just what comes out. And I just feel like if I can try to like preserve that, then I think that will come across like it's very innocent and like very unmeddled with. So, I mean, I know it's like I can't, no matter what, like outside forces will permeate into what I'm doing subconsciously, but like I'm trying to just like focus on like does it make me feel happy to like get this message out and feel good to sing? Awesome, let's cut it and put it on there.
So what are you thinking in terms of new music? Like, is there an album, EP? Because I know you did the Rotoscope EP last year and the Void this year, so you have been keeping the fans like consistently well fed. Is that something that you think you're going to continue? Yeah,
we have some new stuff on the horizon. It feels really good to put out something that it's cohesive, but then it's just kind of like, it's not, the album 2 is like so daunting because we got so much free time to make the first one. Like, it was the pandemic, we were all just hanging out, not doing anything. Now we have like, now instead of the band being our fantasy life that we got to escape to from our 9 to 5 jobs, now the band's our job. So like, we gotta, we gotta feed everybody. We gotta keep the lights on and stuff. So we want to tour a lot, but we also want to take a lot of time to write, because I think that's where this is like being on tour. I love being on stage, but the studio is like where we are ourselves. That's where like Michael is himself. That's where we are most comfortable. There's no one looking at us. It's just me, Michael, and Dan just hanging out. So we want to get back there into our like little safe space and like hide away. So I think everyone will be pleasantly surprised this year. I'm just trying to be like quiet about it, and all those things, they take so long to like get in line, like to like launch. So I'm like, until it's like ready, I can't say anything. It sucks. I just want to give it out to everybody.
Is there anything you're like super excited to do with your music going forward? Because I think in an interview you said you're working on like sort of a concept EP album type thing.
Yes. I'm so excited about that. Oh, it's. I was just reading an interview that I had said about that before we were writing, and what I hoped to achieve, and I had totally forgot about the interview, and I read it again, or I watched, I think it was a video, and I watched it again. That what I was hoping to do, we did. So I think that how I was feeling then, I feel like I was able to bring that into the new music that we've made, and I hope that it comes across to everybody, but we'll have to see. Only time will tell.
So with the Rotoscope EP, that was really well received, and I think people really responded to sort of the changes in your style. Were you like surprised or nervous about that at all?
Well, I didn't feel too stressed about it because it was like the opposite of Eternal Blue, of like how like there's like this big lead up, and it was so like the drama and this climactic thing, like albums out, will they sell albums, this crazy press tour, we were in all these magazines and stuff, and we've never done anything like that in our lives. So it was like, that was crazy for it to go from like being in my office, like trying to like, oh, can we go to the coffee shop on our break, or do I need to go home and like make lunch at home, and then all of a sudden there's like, I'm on a cover of a magazine. Like, that doesn't make any sense. The Rotoscope one, it didn't feel stressful at all because we just put it out. It was awesome. So I really want to play all of them, and from now we've just been playing 2 of them, but I want to play like the whole thing in a row. I love those songs. They're very special to me. I love them.
Were you like surprised or anything about the live reaction to those songs?
Yeah. I feel like this year, all of a sudden, like, I think we just became better performers, because the last year we've been playing Rotoscope, and I'm just like, I just want to like, why don't you like this song, crowd? Like, I'm like, I love this song. And then I'm like, well, all of a sudden, now we like do our headline tour and we go to Europe, and it's like, I'm just like, I tell everyone to shake their ass during that song. It's like a dancing song, and everyone seems to have such a fun time. And I'm like, what happened? And I was like, I think the change is us. We finally we have no excuse anymore. Our excuse is always like, well, we've only played a few shows, but now we've played like hundreds of shows, I think. So we're better. I think we're better at entertaining the crowd and better at connecting with them, and we're better musicians and performers. So I think now everyone's having a lot of fun when that song comes on.
And you teed up Hysteria by being like, there's a breakdown at the end as a treat.
Yeah, well, because I see a lot of people don't know that song, and it's so weird when that song starts and everyone's like trying to do a mosh. I'm like, no, guys, I'm sorry. You just give me like 3 minutes, and you get a little mosh as a treat.
And you said this at the show, and you said this before, that with Spiritbox you wanted to you were looking at, you said like songs don't have to be heavy in like the musical sense only, they can be heavy in emotional sense. Is that something that's still sort of informing your like upcoming music?
Yeah, I just love the freedom to get to just do whatever you want. It all connects together because the thing that connects it is that it's all written by the same people, so no matter what, like, we're gonna have our love of metal music be like imprinted on those songs. But I think that it's just, instead of just trying to write for a subgenre, you know, it I think that's just far too stressful for, I think a lot of people like that's like feels like, you know, cozy for them. But I think for Michael and I, it's that's stressful. Like, we're just writing music that we like, and sometimes it's gonna be heavy sounding, like feeling, and then sometimes it's gonna be really beautiful and light feeling, and maybe the lyrics are just a little bit heavy. But I just find that to be so much more freeing, and really, it's like you know, a lot of people really, really think about those things. A lot of people like how, though someone comes in and go, all right, so the song needs to be, this is the key that people like, and this is the BPM
Wow.
people like, and this is, the song needs to be about this. But that's just not how we do things. And so I don't know how it's going to turn out till like it's done. But there's always going to be, there's a common thing through it all. And I think it's just me and Michael, you know? So I think that, we'll like always make heavy music, but it's just fun to know that our fans are accepting of whatever we make, you know? They're letting us figure ourselves out in real time, and they're just, even if they don't love it, they're just like, sure, why not? Make a piano ballad. Go ahead, guys, you know?
The loyal boxies.
The boxy, yeah, they, you know, I like that they're just open-minded, but they're also really honest. Like, they don't just lap up anything we do. They're critical and stuff, but I think they're really open-minded people. I hope that we continue to attract really open-minded people. It's my dream. Like, oh my God, there's nothing worse than like not liking your fans. Like, if you're like, they're so annoying. I really like I look out there and I'm like, these are cool people. And I'm not just saying that because I want you to come to my shows and spend your money and stuff. I really mean that. Like, I feel really comfortable like meeting them and talking to them and stuff. And it's just cool that there's just all these random like-minded people all over the world that are like kind of into the same stuff that I'm into. It's really cool.
That's really cool. And it's great that you've been able to meet them.
Yeah, I know, because the whole time it's been, you know, an intangible internet thing. And I don't get to meet too many people because I'm just on like, you know, constant vocal rest. And it's very hard to like explain that to them. So I'd rather just not meet them than not talk, and they're like pouring out their story to me and I'm like, you know, when I do get to meet some of them, I've met some really cool people this year, and I don't forget any of them. Like, it's so cool to get to meet them finally, because I've been like, you know, wanting to perform for them for my whole life, basically. So they're cool. I like them. And we're at that moment right now where we don't have like any crazy fans. It's just nice people. They're like, hey, your set was awesome. They're just really casual and nice. So until like, yeah, I'm not scared of them yet. Like, they're not, it's just like another person that enjoys music that I get to say hi to. So I really appreciate them.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
It feels great to get to talk and not be on vocal rest anymore. I feel, normally I'd be like, oh my God, how am I gonna play the show? But so now I get to just hang out. So thank you for being my first non-vocal rest person to talk to in 4 months.
I feel very honored.
Thank you.
Thanks.